My name is Susan Muhwezi, Senior Presidential Advisor on Agoa and Chair Lady of Uganda Hotel Owners Association. I'm beginning on a journey of Agoa as well as Uganda Hotel Owners Association. If you could allow me to remove my mask, here at the Agoa Country Response Office, we observe standard operating procedures. But since I happen to be in a safe environment and speaking alone, to enable me to be audible to you, if you could allow me to remove my mask, since I won't be infecting anyone. Thank you.
But who want to export to the US? You must have quality products that can compete against world market prices. You must respect the delivery schedules so that your consumers can continue to buy your products. You must be reliable, you must be honest, you must be transparent, you must keep the Uganda brand out there shining.
I begin on the journey of Agoa. Agoa stands for African Growth and Opportunity Act. It was enacted into a law in year 2000 by the then Bill Clinton's administration. Agoa allows about 40 sub-Saharan African countries to export to United States duty-free and quota-free. The importance of Agoa and its journey has a lot to do with President Museveni. He was one of the first African presidents to lobby for Agoa. You could even call him one of the architects. Because he thought that it's a very important thing to have the huge American market where African countries can export their goods duty-free and quota-free. So Uganda was one of the first African countries to be eligible for Agoa, and this is a great opportunity. As President Museveni once described it, it's one of the greatest opportunities that was given to Africa in the last 500 years. And so I came to Africa and to Uganda to allow the private sector to export duty-free, quota-free, over 8,000 products. And then a few years down the line, the Agoa Country Response Office was set up just as a monitoring unit, working under State House as well as under the Ministry of Trade to cut through the bureaucracy and to give information to the private sector and to people who are coming in to partner with the private sector to access the huge American market. And one of the things that first happened was to train over 2,000 girls in the famous Triester factory that was exporting to the US Ugandan-made products.
Some of us never had a job. It's not easy also to be at home without working. So I applied, they gave me the job. And those who never knew the machines, they are taken under training. After 1 month, they are given a job. And the training is for free.
Many people talk about Triester as a project that failed, but we in Agoa don't look at it that way, because many of those trained people in the sewing, in the tailoring, have gone out and set up their own small cottage industries, and they've made many other products. Some are actually even exporting. So this is something that we actually owe the government for embracing that international market. Of course, there's so many companies that have come under Agoa. We have companies like Seco Designs that are sending out shoes made in Uganda to about 100 outlets. There are people exporting shea butter. There are people that are exporting leather products. There are people that are exporting casein that is made out of, that's a factory in Mbarara, casein being sent to United States, coffee, processed coffee, because the importance of that was to add value to our agricultural products, to add value to any products that are being produced here. And so Agoa has been a very effective thing. Of course, it's had its challenges in that when Agoa came, America was a new market. Most of our products were going to the European markets, which were our colonial markets. So America was a new market. Transportation of the costs was high. Meeting the phytosanitary standards that were needed for you to be able to, bearing in mind this is an agricultural country. So adding value to our products was a very complicated thing, because with the American market they needed phytosanitary standards if we were going to export agricultural products or honey or other products. So the standardization and producing quality products needed a lot of investment. And as you know, we had challenges with accessing what you'd call not cheap money, but good money that would enable the private sector to process and add value to our products. So we had that challenges. We had the infrastructure challenges. Of course, as you know, America is so far, and we didn't have direct flights. Thank God that we now have Uganda Airlines, quite an achievement. So before you know it, we'll be taking our products to the United States. So we had the infrastructure challenges. We had challenges of production. And we thank God now that, you know, there's Operation Wealth Creation, they are sensitizing the farmers, they are giving out seeds. So it's very good, and we must appreciate how far our country has come. We must appreciate the journey that the government has taken in sensitizing the farmers, in giving them the implements and seeds that are needed. This will enable all the farmers that are involved in this to add value and be able to have good quality products. For example, I don't know how many Ugandans have visited fine spinners. There's been value addition on our cotton. Now we are exporting T-shirts, we are exporting jeans, and we are adding value on our cotton farmers in Kasese. CDO, a Cotton Development Organization, has done a good job. This is credit to our government in that it has found it necessary to add value on cotton, on coffee, on tea, so that it can be exported. And so much more money can come, not only to the private sector that are exporting, but to the farmer that is growing these crops. So that has been a fantastic journey that we've been proud to be part of. Of course, like I said, anything that you are trying to promote, you need to know the market. So what we do in Agoa is to make sure that we sensitize. We carry out sensitization programs. We have been to northern Uganda, we have been to western Uganda, we have had conferences together with the Ministry of Trade. The country has written the Agoa strategy that has been presented to Cabinet and is waiting approval. In the strategy, we are addressing the production issues, the marketing issues. We are building synergies between different government ministries, the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade, which would be the marketing arm, the Operation Wealth Creation, and all the other ministries, because promoting our exports is not done at marketing our exports and promoting them is at the end tail. It starts at the beginning, right with the grassroots, with the farmers, with local governments. So it's more like tourism, where we normally say it's everybody's business. So even exports, it's everybody's business, because Uganda is a blessed country. We have the best climate. We have very hardworking people. So what we need is to make sure that they are guided properly, that they are sensitized properly. Part of the challenge about Agoa, not many people knew what Agoa is about. But we have sensitized the parliament. We last had an expo at parliament so that parliamentarians can buy in and be able to explain to their constituencies that this is a viable market that Ugandans can take advantage of. It's not only Uganda that did not benefit as much as it wanted to benefit from Agoa. The first impediment was at first it had to be renewed every 5 years. So you'd find that many people say, how can I invest in something that will expire in 5 years? So we went back on the drawing board with the US government and we convinced them to renew Agoa for a longer period. And they gave us 10 years. So Agoa's expiration date is in 2025. But we are hopeful that we will again go on the drawing table. Tourism is an export. It's an invisible export in itself. So I'm very proud because I happen to be the senior presidential advisor on Agoa, but I'm also on the board of tourism. And in a way, it both markets my country. On one arm, I market our exports in the United States. I'm on the board, I market Uganda's beauty to the outside world. And so I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, that I love, but also I'm making a contribution to our country, to the journey of development in our country. And I'm so proud that in my lifetime, I've seen Uganda come this far. I've seen the infrastructure, the road network that has developed in this country. I don't know if the viewers have traveled far and wide to know that you can travel from one border to the other on a tarmac road. That's something to be thankful about. And that's something that shows that actually, because how are you going to export if you don't develop infrastructure? Right now, we have Uganda Airlines flying the skies. That's something to be, it makes what we are doing real and visible. So I am really very thankful the journey this country has walked since 1986. I was just a young person who had come out of university and I knew the history of this country. Some of us did not even do our education here. We had to go to Kenya. But now we are here. We've seen the economy revived. We've seen people being able, at that time, who would have ever imagined that a farmer from Kasese who's growing cotton, it's being brought a factory in Kampala and turned into a t-shirt to export to the United States. Who would have known that a young person who came here and couldn't get school fees to go to university is working at Seco Designs and making shoes that are being exported to Portland, Oregon in the US, and that money is coming back to the country to see this student through school. Who would have known that we would add value to our coffee? I don't even know if you know that Gorilla Coffee and a Gorilla Cafe is in the United States and people are drinking Ugandan coffee. Who would have known that our tea is in the market in New York? Who would have known? That's a journey that we should not only thank God for, but thank this government that we have reached this far. There's a saying in the Bible that Ebenezer, thus far you have brought us, God. So I'm very thankful on that. Like I said, I'm also the chairperson of Uganda Hotel Owners Association, something that was formed by our founder, Haji BMK Chibirige. I don't know if many of you have read his book, The Story of a Fortune, which was launched just a few weeks ago. BMK Chibirige founded this association with about 9 members. I was one of them many years ago. He started with 9 members. Now this association has over 600 hoteliers. It's the voice and lobby of the hoteliers, both to government, but even to other bodies like UTB, like private sector foundation. Of course, when this association began, it was to make sure that we put our minds together and see how we can work to improve on this sector, both in training, in standardizations, and it has done a lot. It has done a lot, and especially during this pandemic, because the tourism sector was hit hard during this pandemic. Hotels closed, people were laid off, but this association lobbied in government for a stimuli package. Thankfully, the government came to our aid together with the European Union and put a stimuli package, though it's not enough compared to what the hotels have suffered, but it's a small effort by the government, and we are very grateful. But also it's had a big contribution. The hotel sector is one of the largest taxpayers in this country. When you know that a few years down the road, probably there was no indigenous Ugandan who owned a hotel. But now you are seeing Skies, Protea, Speak Resort, Hotel Africana, Masindi Hotel in Jinja, and many others, almost in all regions in Western Uganda, in Fort Portal, which is one of the best tourism cities. Wherever you go, you'll find hotels that are owned by indigenous Ugandans. And when His Excellency, the President, talks of our economy being private sector led, that's a reality that has happened in this country. We are grateful because we know that these hotels have given employment, especially to the youth and the women. Uganda really has done well in this pandemic by implementing the SOPs, by putting a lockdown, and we thank God that things are getting back to normal. And we know tourism will pick up. Under UTB, of where I sit on the board, there's been good visibility. Right now we are having Powate, though it's a hybrid, it's virtual because of the pandemic, but we've been very visible. We've been promoting our country. As you can hear, we had Akon here, we have had Khalid from United Arab Emirates visit our gorillas in Windi. So I think tourism will pick up, so will the hotel sector, and we'll continue to provide employment. We continue to lobby government, the same government, which had taken off VAT exemption for upcountry hotels and a bit of the city hotels up to June. We believe there's more that can be done to revive the hotel sector and to revive the tourism sector, because before the pandemic, the tourism sector was #1 foreign exchange earner. And when you support the tourism sector, you actually support the entire value chain, because tourism is everybody's business. The farmer supplies the eggs, the food, and everything that is in the hotel. Right up to the top, everybody has something to earn when tourism is up. So I call upon government, and I also call upon the private sector, including the hoteliers, to make sure that right now we are going to go into an exercise of classification, of grading and classification. So the Uganda Hotel Owners Association has been working closely with UTB to make sure that hotel owners and managers are sensitized, and when they classification and grading exercise starts, that they are all on board, because this will help us to be on the same standards with the East African region, so that whoever visits Kenya and sleeps in a 5-star hotel, he comes to Uganda and the standards are the same, the quality, the SOPs are implemented. And Ugandans are safe and the tourists are safe too. So I really believe that we are on a great journey economically, we are on a great journey politically. Uganda is safe. Today I met someone who was coming from an outside country. The lady visited me and was amazed at how they can wear their jewelry, walk the streets, though we have curfew, but there are some countries where during the day people will be snatching your handbag and snatching your jewelry. So we need to protect this peace that some people take for granted. Because without peace, there won't be economic development. Without peace, there's so many, when you have something, you take it so much for granted until you lose it. But I really think it's been a great journey. Uganda is on a high trajectory. Look at the agreement that has been signed last Sunday. Many people look at things in isolation, but all these things are connected. Once the refinery is built, once our oil is out of the ground and it's flowing, every Ugandan will be rich. But we can't only look at oil. We need to know that Uganda has much more than oil. Protect your environment. Protect our swamps. Plant trees. The youth need to know that they don't have to have office jobs, that they can actually employ, they can be innovative, they can do farming. We are one of the countries with the best climate, with fertile soils, with good, youthful people. And if they put themselves to youth, they get involved in all the sectors that this country has provided. Let them involve themselves in tourism. Let them involve themselves in farming and value addition and exporting. And everybody will live a good and useful life in this country. I really must appreciate the government, headed by His Excellency the President, for the peace they've given to this country, for the good leadership that we have experienced. And I believe that if we all say, what can we do to make Uganda great? Not what can Uganda do for us to be great. We will definitely make Uganda great, and at the end of the day, we will also be great. We will be useful citizens of the country, and we will give God the glory. I'm a person who believes in unity and women empowerment. And I started this because it's something I got from my parents. They gave both men and women equal opportunities and education in my family. We're a family of 3, 1 girl and 2 boys. And so I happen to be the vice chairperson of Women's League, NRM. And in that role, I've tried to encourage women. I want to thank this government, because without it, some of the women wouldn't be in the positions we are in. It has not only allowed women to be educated, but it has promoted women. Uganda was one of the first country to have a woman vice president. We've had a woman speaker of parliament, and many women ministers, and in parliament and everywhere. But I urge these women to actually, when you are in those positions, make sure you do something for the grassroots woman, for the girl child, to make sure that where you are, they too can be. So I just want to end by thanking the government for the work it's done in the promotion of women, because I'm a woman, but generally in the development and promotion of Uganda as a country, economically, politically, and otherwise. I want to thank UBC for this program, for the journey, because what we have lacked is to take a look back to where we came from and where we are. So I really thank UBC. Many a time I have always talked to my husband and say, we need to have programs showcasing where we were and how far we have come. And I'm very, very grateful to UBC for doing this. Thank you.